Greetings, survivors. So, I'm doing a series for blunt weapons as strength attribute as the main fighting skill. And I really wanted a pole base. The first base I did was a doubled pole, and it didn't work very well. Let me explain what happened there. So let me get some poles from creative. So let's get some poles here. Let's make one more row here. So the way I usually like to do poles is like up, right? So they don't touch the ground. And this one would be the pole down, it touched the ground. So the way I did this then was I had like poles here and here, and then they were duplicated on the other side, right? So this was the basic design. Now the problem here was that looking at the second pole, uh, below was fine, but trying to see the second pole above here was really not. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy to do. Now, if I were to use so if I use instead a pull down design, and then copy rotation here, and this actually has to be repeated once more. Be at least 3 high here. So this is easier, but it's still not natural. If I'm standing here, okay, I can easily see the pole, the further away pole. Here, not so much. I mean, it is visible, don't get me wrong, but it's not that visible. And if you're fighting, if you're in the middle of a horde night and fighting, it can be hard. It can be hard to notice that thing, right? You can see that even here, I mean, if you stop and look, you can see that the pole is broken. But if you're fighting, it might not be that obvious. The zombies were taking advantage of these flaws to jump. And once they're up here, they they broke through faster, they attacked below, and they did all sort of shenanigans that um, I really do not approve of. Okay, so the other problem is that when you use poles duplicated like that, the zombies, if they ragdoll, that is, if they get knocked to the ground, they can actually cross the poles. That's not that rare. That's actually a fairly common occurrence. Um, One solution to that is to not have the poles side by side, which is um, which is something Cage did. Cage H48 did that more by chance than by design. but it worked pretty well because once the zombies were ragdolled, they ragdolled to the middle, but they didn't ragdoll further. There is an explanation for that. When the zombies are ragdolling, the zombies that are not ragdolling can push them. So with all the zombies trying to get inside here, a zombie that is ragdolling is pushed by the other zombies in this direction. It can also be pushed in the opposite direction if it falls backwards, but it, it has a good chance of ragdolling in this direction. But once he is in the middle, the other zombies cannot push him any longer. Now, the way I've let's get on the debug menu here. The way I've decided to fix my reminder, buddies, friends, do turn off the electric fences once you're no longer using them, and I have to fix them as well. Well, so the way I solve this is by both duplicating and having a pole behind. So I have a section in the middle and the poles at the front are duplicated. And on top of that, the poles at the front, as you can see here, this one is at the top and this one is at the bottom. So the outside poles are bottom, bottom, bottom. The inside poles are top, top, top. And the other issue I had were the zombies really getting on top of each other, so they duplicated their numbers at the front of the base, and I solved that by placing bars as the fourth block, iron bars at the fourth block, so that they cannot, well, so even if they jump, they cannot get there. And they get blocked by that. If they climb on each other, they get blocked by that. And I have some bars further up, which might not be a bad idea because if they happen to be standing here, for example, like stand on top of each other, and these bars do not exist, they could easily get on top of it. Now we have some visitors here. I got a wolf there. This is just a lone wolf. No, it's not a lone wolf. It's a wolf horde. So dogs, wolves as well, they are actually the animals with the creatures most annoying. Okay, it's coming back. Oh? Alright. They are the most annoying creatures in this setup because of the way they stand there. But interestingly, they are the only creatures that can hit you. Dogs are the only creatures that can hit you, even when you're stuck to this pole here. So spiders cannot hit you, whites cannot hit you, cops cannot hit you, bikers cannot hit you. The only creature that can hit you is the only creatures that can hit you are uh, the the dogs. Well, I haven't seen bears on Horde Night, but let's hope that doesn't happen. Now, so with this setup, I can easily see all the poles. So for example, the external poles, that one, that one, that one. The internal poles, this one, this one. Oh, sorry, this one, and this one. Then these poles, of course. So all poles are easily visible. I have the external poles as steel poles because then if they break into concrete, we can move them back to iron. Um, and we get a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And I mean, the other poles, they do get damaged, but the ones that get damaged the most are the external ones. So I save here by only having upgraded the internal pole, the external poles. And at that, I don't even upgrade those because honestly, there's no need for that. Now, another feature that's interesting in this setup is the electric fences. So you see these two electric fences, this one gets the zombies that are bashing outside. And if a zombie is either if they breach through the outside and get inside, at which point you should really start going to somewhere else, because if they pass through two poles outside, the pole inside is not gonna last long. Um, but if they ragdoll to the middle, then there's a second set of electric fences that cross right through the middle. So whether they are here or in the middle, they are being electrocuted. Now, these electric fences, you see I have, they are not connected in any way to the base. I mean, there is a diagonal here, but there is no path from it to the base. So there is no reason for the zombies to climb here and try to get to the base. The whole base is has a moat around it. The moat has an exit, so if they get inside, they can exit and come back here to the front. The electric fences are fairly safe. Um, you can place protection around it for cop spit, but it's even cop spit. It doesn't hit though them very often because the angles required for that, the copies are usually not spitting on them. And you're inside here, they can only see through this short front. On the sides, I have a plate here, a door there, and the electric fences are here, connected to the switch. And let me also get the electrical parts and forged iron. So not only you can wire them to the switch really easily, you can replace these fences really easily, and you can repair these fences really easily, right? So I can place, you see I can place all the way up to there. So I can easily place something here. I can easily repair the fences. And if I have to replace the electric fence poles, I can easily um, wire them again. In fact, if I take this wire here and go all the way here, this is still black. So I don't even have to like do this weird, let's find the angle. No, I can go all the way up here and simply connect them. This is black, right? The front of the base here has 4 blocks, and then I have a block here, well, 2 blocks on each side as a wall of sorts. So break this, turn this thing here, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this. And let's go outside once more. So we have 2 blocks on each side. The reason it's 2 blocks, well, one advantage of being 2 blocks is that you have some protection here on the sides to hide, right? It decreases the angles at which the zombies can see you, and you have like a hideout on the side. That's one advantage, but it was made here because this is a converted POI. It was a garage, and the door of the garage was this, 4 wide, and with a space here, and then walls afterwards. So that's how I made it. So 4 spaces um, in the middle, and then 6 spaces internally, 8 spaces from one side to the other, and the fences are then at this will be 10, 12 spaces. And you can even then place here and here dart traps. In fact, I had dart traps, but a zombie destroyed some blocks while experimenting with the dart traps and they collapsed. So I no longer have them. Um, so you can place dart traps here, and you can place arrow slits in front of them to protect the dart traps. Placing arrow slits here is not gonna make any of this more attractive to the zombies. First off, because there's a moat between them and those blocks. And second, even if there wasn't, and they could get here and go through the dart traps, they still cannot enter the base. They can bash here, of course, but there's more things to bash to the side than to bash through here. It's not an advantage. On the sides, you can place full blocks. Um, Plates, half blocks do not protect against explosion. They are not efficient against cops pit. So place full blocks if you want to protect the electric fences. Or you can place bulletproof glass. Bulletproof glass plate protects against explosion. So uh, that would be thinner and look better. And you really only need to place things on this side because on this side there's absolutely no reason for any puking in this direction. But if you want to, you can bring this all the way about here, I would say. Like make a small platform here and protect it all the way to the side and extend the modes so that it goes around the whole platform. And then you have like a small protected enclosure where you can only see from inside through that hatch there. Okay. Um, Now, one final thing that is I find interesting, we're gonna enable show swings here. So it's very interesting that you can stand here and beat on the zombies and they cannot reach you. The only ones that can reach you are the dogs. So if there are dogs, kill all the dogs and then you can get close. But with the swing enable, let's look at some swings here. So that's the normal attack for the club, the iron club. You can see where it reaches here. So it can in fact almost reach 1 block back. Not quite. Power attack. So you can see a power attack in the middle can pretty much do grazing hits from one side to the other. So if you have a weighted weighted head, that grazing hit can slow them down, can knock them over, which is pretty effective. And that block, that attack can also almost reach the second block over there. Now the sledgehammer normal attack. You can see it's a little bit of a monster. And this guy actually reaches the second block over. Barely so, but if the zombie's standing here, like if they were knocked down and they're standing up here, you can actually get to them. And then we go for the power attack. Same thing. Let me get some other candidates here. The knife is not very efficient. The machete will do both of them. So that's the knife. So the knife barely reaches here, but it does reach here. So you can actually hit zombies that are bouncing around here with the knife. Let's do this attack. These are normal attacks. I'm not gonna spend much time on this. So you can see that it reaches the first block fine. My cheating. And then I can get a spear. I'll do the normal attack. And you can see the spear has a huge range. It reaches almost to the end of the second block from the poles. So really effective, really easy to fight. Dogs can hit you. Spider zombies will be a little bit annoying the way they're gonna stand here. So if I were to spawn a spider zombie here, spider, look at me, there. So they stick their heads there, cannot hit me. They do hit these poles here. They are the only ones that can hit these poles. And you can either hit them from here or you can move back a little bit and attack them with a longer range weapon. Oops. Right. Now, These poles are also fairly effective at stopping cop puke. It won't stop cop puke. It won't stop all of it, but it actually can stop a lot of it, which it was fairly surprising. Now, how does it fare against demolishers? Honestly, I don't know, and I suggest you kill them before they reach here, or that you have a different protections against the demolishers. But um, this is a really effective pole base. Um, I went through a number of horde nights using nothing more than the sledgehammer and the club and the M60 when there are cops just to get rid of them quickly. But even cops, I sometimes just melee them to death. And if they happen to explode, move back, and this will take a lot of punishment before it gets destroyed. So I hope this is useful to you guys, and I hope you enjoyed, and thank you for watching.